That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Jason David Frank.
Boom shakalaka.
Please do not change channel.
Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter.
I'm Christian Basil.
And we are here at Tampa Bay Comic-Con 2018 in Tampa Bay Convention Center. And we're hanging right now with authors and Hangin' with Web Show, like really early alumni, Elle E. and Jose Iriarte. Jose, Elle, thank you guys so much. I know. So we're all Hollywood famous now. So, how's it going, guys?
Good.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. We talked at the Speculative Fiction Conference Southeast 2.5 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. And then at that Necro.
And at Necro, that's right.
And at that time I had, I think I only had my third or fourth short story published at all at that point, and I've had like a couple dozen, now. So
he cranks out copy like a newspaper reporter, and he's making the stuff up.
I wish.
So that's pretty good. He also has another distinction. I'm going to let Elle tell you, because he, as a short story writer, recognition we live off of. We can't eat it. We can't eat it yet, but it's what we live off of. And he's got some awards going.
He's doing really, really well. His current story is published in Lightspeed magazine, and it is it the novella?
It's a novelette.
Novelette, and it's on the novelette recommended reading list. And right now, it's running it first on the recommended reading list for the Nebulas.
That's fantastic.
So we're hoping he will be nominated this year. That would be awesome.
It would be really nice to get some end of the year kudos. But
that is really good stuff. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. When we first talked, my first novel, Vicious Circle, was about to be released. It came, it went. And now we're shopping a new book called, oh my gosh, I can't even think of my own book's title right now. Threadbare, yes, Threadbare, yes.
Right.
Put me in front of a camera, I can't speak a
How
word.
did Vicious Circle do?
Vicious Circle did all right. Unfortunately, my publisher went under about a year after it came out, which is why it is not there.
I know out there on the web you think that when we publish our first book, that is the day we hit publish, that's the day we start accepting our checks and our film, film offers, things like that. Doesn't always work that way.
No.
There's a whole business on the other side of the keyboard, right?
Right.
And it doesn't always work out, but it was out there and readers got to read.
They did. They
and
did.
I loved it. She had tremendous reviews on Goodreads and Amazon and all.
And that's for the first time out. That's really what it's all about: is getting your name out there, getting your story out there in the hands of the people who can enjoy it and appreciate it. We don't always make $1 million the first time out, but Ellie's poised right now with her second one. So you're on your way to the New York Times bestseller list.
I like the way you think. Let's go with that.
We're going to go with that right now. You guys just did a panel, right? Yeah.
We did a couple of panels.
A couple panels.
Yeah.
See, when you're big shots, you get to do cool stuff.
Like this isn't.
Wow.
The panels went really well. We did one on writing styles, and we did another one on writing women warriors, which is my thing, of course.
Yeah.
And we also did the Orlando MegaCon a couple of months ago. So that was
awesome. You hit on something really important there. Before it was hip and cool and everybody was doing it, you were writing powerful women.
I was writing it about the time that everybody was doing it.
What's it feel like now on the other side of that hump, where everybody now, in pop culture has, subcultures become pop culture, become mainstream, and powerful women are it, man. That's where it's at these days.
Well, it's nice from the shopping it perspective. My agent is a lot more confident about selling my work than she was, because now everybody wants it. And everybody wants to get it. So I'm hoping that we'll have more success with this round. The challenge is you have to do something different so that you stand apart from the crowd. So my characters are lesbian and bisexual, and that makes them stand out a little bit more from all the strong female characters that are out there. And I try to pick occupations for them that aren't quite as typical. One of them's a construction worker. So in that case, I mean, I haven't seen one yet, so hopefully that'll make it stand out.
We haven't seen that since Flashdance. Okay, that's how old we are.
That was 1980 what?
Yeah.
Long pause.
Long pause.
Best panel moment that you have.
Yeah. Best moment on a panel, guys.
It's going to be it.
Are you going to throw that? I think, well, I don't want to throw somebody under the bus. Just kind of looking around and realizing that there was this one question that we could just go on answering for 40 minutes and realizing that we were going to have to reel it back in, otherwise we weren't going to get anything else talked about.
You know, it's great to be invited onto a panel and to feel that moment when you're first on there and you say, oh wow, this is a mark that, you know, I'm considered a subject matter, you know, expert, as it were. But then when you get a question that you could just go on forever about, and you're like, I really do know stuff. Yes, it surprises us too, because you don't realize what you pick up in your career along the way until somebody asks you a direct question. So, well, how did you write that, or how would you write that? And you're like, I can answer that question. I know the answer to that. How many short stories have you got out there now?
I've got about 24 published stories.
That is fantastic. That's a long way from like the 3 that you had when we talked at Necro a couple of years ago, right? What have the best moments on this journey been for you as a creative artist? And you know, as a couple that's creative artists, how does that, you know, you guys bounce ideas off of each other?
We do, all the time.
You feel each other's successes?
And we understand each other's pain.
Yes.
And the heartbreaks that go
That's
with it,
a lot of times we talk to people who are married to people who are not also writers, and the spouse wants to be sympathetic, wants to be supportive, but they really just don't get it. We're very fortunate that our highs tend to be opposite each other's and our lows tend to, so we both kind of bring each other back up when we're feeling that we're not going to do well.
Well, you know, when we get excited and you say, oh, I got the best review today I read, and you tell somebody else about it and they're like, yeah,
right.
I liked your book already. What are you telling me
That's
about?
a nice little hobby that you have. Yes, we get that a lot.
And then, you know, or again, you're getting these great reviews and then the publishing thing happens and now you're like, well, all these great readers and all this great feedback and there's no check at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And you know, the only person, you could look at Jose and he can go, yeah, I get that. That's got a nice feeling, right?
It is. It is.
Do you guys enjoy doing panels and stuff together too? Bounce things off of each other?
I love it. It's I mean, it's self-indulgent, but it's a topic. You know, there are a lot of things that I'm passionate about, but to succeed in writing, it's got to be. It needs to be all-consuming. So this grabs a lot of my processing cycles, and so to talk about the thing that I really care the most about is nice.
Do you get to learn a lot through those question and answers about your process as well? Things that you don't necessarily pay attention to while you're writing?
I think so. I think when you're forced to articulate something, then you have to be more conscious of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And as
you
for
go home, it should make you a better writer. You're like, oh, I know what I'm doing now. This is right?
Right. And as for working together, when we're not doing panels together, we also do presentations. Just the two of us at a lot of the writing conferences. I don't like to present alone, but I love to present with him because our stories are different and our processes are completely opposite from each other's.
Well, and you write in a long format too.
Well, he does too.
And you write mostly, your published work is in a short format.
Yes.
Correct.
Now, speaking of experts on the subject, you're an expert in the subject of math. How do you incorporate that into the stories?
I struggle with it, actually. I have a friend who keeps saying, you should write more stories with math in them. And what I find is that when you don't know much about a subject, it's easy to think that you know more about it than you know.
Yeah.
I feel like I know enough about math to know just how little I know. And so I'm very worried if I try to do too much with that I'll just expose myself. I'll you know, to try to make it dramatic, I'll say something stupid. I do have one short story that, published story that incorporates math and probability. It's of unions, intersections, and empty sets that came out like 3 years or so ago in Fantastic Stories magazine. And there's very little math in it because no one wants to read that, but it's just kind of the what if, you know, what if we could predict things, you know.
Wow. Now, you know, you hit on something really important. You know, early on in your writing career, they always try to tell you, write what you know. The problem with writing what you know sometimes is that in order to make it, as you said, dramatic and interesting for a person that doesn't know that, you have to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's hard for a mathematician to tweak the math.
Yeah.
You don't want to get it wrong because you're a math, but I don't want to get it wrong.
I don't want to embarrass myself.
That's right. And I know that the only way to make it interesting is to get it wrong or to change it a little bit. And so it's hard sometimes when you have a hard science background to write what you know. Because, you know, and we talk to authors who have, you know, are great science fiction authors. And it's by doing the research and only knowing that much that they're able to be creative within that realm. They're not bound by the hard science. Whereas you get a hard scientist that tries to write a fiction story and they either get bound by the physics and I can't make that happen because I know that it couldn't happen. Or they get so detailed that you lose your reader because your reader just kind of glosses over and goes, what the quantum who? And that's the end of it. So that's an interesting place to find yourself when you're trying to write a story with probabilities in it. You're like, okay, let's not talk about the math too much because let's just pretend that the probability is certainty of the future. So that's pretty kind of cool. Where are you guys headed from here? What's your next con? What's your next conference? Where are you guys going?
We're doing the Florida Writers Association Annual Conference.
That's in October.
That's in October, and we'll be doing several paired presentations there and a couple of panels as well.
Awesome. Guys, we're going to put some links down below so that you can find Elle E, Ire, and Jose Iriarte online. We're going to throw some links in there to some different magazines and people that I know are running Jose's work. And so you guys can find them online. Check out these folks. Look for Ellie's next book. All right? And the title of that's going to be?
Threadbare.
Threadbare.
That's it.
I got nothing. I got nothing to go with that. All right, folks.
That's the first time I've seen you speechless.
I know. Let's wrap it up, though. I tell you what, we're going to say thank you to our partners and friends. We want to first start out by thanking our newest partner, Embellish Effects in Orlando. All your cosplay needs under one roof. Pound the Grape in Melbourne, Florida.
Yeah, they just joined the family. Also, some in unique magazines.
I always give him that one because he hates the little end with the...
Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies. Check those guys out. And Yvonne Mason with Off the Chain. Check out all of our friends and our family. Can't do this without them. Can't do this without you.
That's right, we can't. So make sure you hit subscribe, come back over and over again. We have been hanging with authors Elle E. Ire and Jose Iriarte at Tampa Bay Comic-Con. Remember, everybody, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next. Thank you so much, guys. Hey.
Thanks.
We'll be right back.